my foot down a little bit. Pull that corner. Jeez. Wow. That's astonishing. Hello. Now you are most definitely going to be familiar with this car. It is the 2001 Mini, the BMW Mini. Considered a bit of a girly car. Is it girly? Is it girly because it's small and cute? Yes, yes it is. It is a girly car. But what kind of a girl drives a car like this? I'll tell you. One with a beard. The standard Mini Cooper had about 89 brake horsepower, something like that. Not a great deal, but then it's only a small car. But then this isn't the ordinary one. This is the Cooper S, and that had 163 brake horsepower, which is a lot more. 163 brake horsepower. That's quite a bit in a car of that size. But that wasn't enough, because there were other tuning companies coming along and making them even quicker, giving them even more power than they need, more power than they deserve. Like the Cooper S Works had something like nearly 200 brake horsepower. But this one, this is the GTT version, 220 brake horsepower. Let's forget about this car's performance for a moment and just have a good look around it. In fact, let's get inside it. Yeah, I mean, consider this actually. This may be a very small car, but it's not light. It's about 1100 kilos, which is quite a lot for a car that's only about 10 foot long. Many people don't like the 2001 Mini. Many people don't like it because it's bigger than the original Mini, and it's not really a Mini any longer, it's a BMW. That's one thing. And many other people don't like it because it was supposed to be a Rover, and there was even pictures of this actual shaped car in the Longbridge plant. All sorts of things went on and Rover got kicked out of the deal, and BMW basically took it on as their own car, which some may say was the original plan. Yeah, you can't speculate. Well, you can speculate, but I'm not going to. I did once say that if I ever owned an R53, I would stick on a Rover badge on the front there. And you know what? I probably would. Yeah, I'd still do that. Is this subjective or not? This Mini is cute. Yeah, it is. If they got the styling exactly right, as far as I'm concerned, it couldn't have been any better. It looks like a Mini, and it is still relatively small. The fact that this car was a runaway success, whereas the Beetle wasn't, does tell you quite a bit about what people's perception of the Mini actually was. And well, it was this, with the exception, of course, of those that simply refused to go anywhere near it because it wasn't the old Mini. The recipe is still the same. Wheel right at the corner. Wheel right at the corner. Reasonably wide for the length of the car. I thought I might take a minute to have a walk around the car and tell you what I like about it. Well, I like these 17-inch wheels. They look like the old Mini lights, but much bigger. I like the wheel arches. I like the fuel filler flap sticking out like that. I like this rear quarter window. I think that looks rather cool. I like the fact that it's got this lip all the way around there. I like the shape of the door. I like that mirror. I like this tiny front wing. And I like the way this bonnet curves over like this big clamshell bonnet that of course opens up to reveal the engine very, very well indeed. I quite like the spot lamps. They look somewhat aftermarket though. I like the bonnet scoop. I like the big happy headlamps. I like the upright front windscreen. I like the fact that the windscreen wipers aren't obscured by the bonnet. And I like this side as much as I like the other side. I like the design of these tail lamps, which look similar to the original ones. I like those big twin exhausts. I like these massive tyres on there, these massive Yokohama tyres that look very sticky, although they bear absolutely no resemblance to the original Mini being that wide. Mini has become a brand of its own, of course. It was originally just this one car, and I believe the idea of this was just to bring back the Mini and the whole sense of fun and the sense of classlessness about this car, and I've always believed they did a very good job of it. What came afterwards is a different story. Starting with the boot. The boot is very small, and we know nobody can fit in there. I actually like the fact that it's got such a small boot though, because it shows that they weren't overly concerned with making it practical. It was just a fun car. Inside is quite a nice combination of decent build quality and traditional looks. Nice soft leather seats, not much room in the back, and these door bins like they used to have in the original Mini. Rather interestingly, they didn't go to the effort to make them any bigger than they were originally. In fact, they're smaller, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Upright windscreen, that's quite a steep angle, that. And then this dashboard with a massive speedometer in the middle, like they had on the original Mini. You can see such a huge resemblance between this dashboard and the Rover 75, which was around the same era. I'm talking about this bit here, of course, not that bit, just this bit. If you know what a Rover 75 looks like on the inside, you will undoubtedly agree, even if you don't particularly want to do. These are quite useful big door bins here, and then there's a sort of a space behind the back of there for no practical purpose, but just for style, I guess. I mean, the whole thing's kind of uncluttered on the inside, which is quite nice. These don't feel particularly BMW-like. This kind of unnecessary hoop design on there, maybe it's to stop you from getting your fingers mixed up between one switch and another, I don't know. That rev counter in the middle looks like one big froggy's eye, and then there's a spring here. I'm not sure what that's about. I very much doubt that's an original factory fit thing. Good door shut sound. Handle there feels a bit flimsy, but we can forgive it a thing or two, can't we? The seating position is comfortable, certainly from the front. It's not going to be from the back, because if I put my hand there, there isn't enough room for me to put my legs, and you know, legs are not necessarily that important for the journey, but they are for getting out of the car afterwards. So that would be a really silly sacrifice. You know, the person driving the car, there's headroom, good amount of headroom there. That's quite impressive. The interior quality is actually quite good. It's a bit flimsy in some places, and there's the old dashboard tapping thing again that I always do. It feels, let's say, okay. As I'm sure you know, okay is better than not good, but it's not as good as excellent, or very good for that matter. Opening the bonnet. Yeah, it looks like some sort of brain operation where the top of the skull's removed in order to get to the gubbins. You know, the grey gubbins that people keep up here, or some people do. But we can see there's some business going on here, can't we? Because obviously that is a big supercharger on the top of there. So the bonnet scoop is purposeful. And then this great big strut brace across the front of there. GTT, that's obviously part of the tuning. And then this to make it sound a bit more noisy. I am anticipating quite a lot of sound with this car. Let's hope it's a good sound. I will certainly start off by driving this car quite gently, just to be respectful, and also to let the engine warm up. Oh, it has to. Right, okay, that's the end of that then. I haven't really turned a corner yet, so I don't know about the steering, but the gear change does feel very, very secure indeed. Nice and stiff. The actual indicator stalks feel a bit flimsy, but so far the steering is nice and solid. Solid. We'll get some corners and I'll go around the corners and I'll tell you whether it does feel like a go-kart or not. First bit of a bend coming up. actually. I tell you what, the trouble is it's a bit too damp really to put the foot down at all. Into third gear. That's quite effortless actually. Effortless punch. Third gear. Gosh, it pulls really nicely. Now, Mark did tell me I've got to rev, I think. I haven't yet. That's just up to about 4,000 RPM. Whoa! I just caught that key up the canto up a little bit too quickly there, I think. Now the roads might be just a little bit too busy really to do anything that's exciting. This is normally where I like to bring a car because it's nice and safe, nice wide roads, people aren't knocking around. As I know, the Mini was originally going to be based on the Rover R3 platform, which of course eventually become the Rover 25. And that may have seemed good enough. It's certainly a stiff chassis, but they wanted their own thing. BMW wanted their own chassis. And if you've ever driven an MG ZR, you'll know it's a very capable car. This really needs to be flung around a few bends to actually find out how good it actually is. Yeah, so where can I find some bends I'm allowed to go around quickly? That's the question. In fourth gear there, it just picks up rather effortlessly as well. And we got 6 speeds. I wonder if it'll do the same thing in 6 gear as well. A little roundabout test. Oh yes, that clings on exceedingly. Wow. Yeah, that is definitely good enough. Pull out the corner. Jeez. Wow. That's astonishing. Now, this car is really rather effortless, but if I just go back round this roundabout again and just actually put my foot down a little bit, hope this Toyota doesn't get in the way. No, he hasn't. And I'll go look down. That's something else. That flies. That does. I would say that's very good. And the brilliant thing is, because the speedometer's there instead of there, you can't even see how fast you're going. So you're completely innocent of any crime. But I do appreciate it's a quick one. That's just spot on. I really like this car. Traction control kicking in an awful lot though. But that's because the road is just a little bit damp. A quick spin around the Kingsway Business Park there is enough to satisfy me of its get up and go and the enjoyment that one can have out of it. So I should just take it back and hand over the key. Should I just go Wallace Lane instead? Should I just do that? I don't suppose you'll mind. So better handling car than the ZR is the ZS. And I don't mean to be filling this video about the Mini Cooper S, about MG and Rover, but that is an astonishingly good car. And this is as good. I don't know if it's any better, but it's as good. That go-kart handling they talk about is definitely present. This is a nice example of a Mini, but they did suffer with quite a few problems, mainly head gaskets, gearboxes, drop links, window regulators, and quite a few other things as well. This one appears to be free of all that stuff. I will say actually, these switches down here with the electric windows, I think unless you're really used to the car, you can possibly find them a bit confusing, because I was trying to put the fog lamp on then instead of putting the window down, and that wouldn't have happened in a different car. I'm about to turn right to go up Kiln Lane here, where the garage is. And as I drive by the garage, Mark will no doubtedly be looking out for his lovely Mini. And he'll see me driving it very, very sensibly indeed. I don't want him to be thinking I'm having too much fun. So there we go. Drive like an old lady. The only car I've ever driven that's come close to this kind of performance was my Clio 172, which I was told had been fettled with, the cams messed with, to make it go much more quickly. Now that was a really stupidly quick car. I never got bored of it, but I did get bored of the idea that it might break down because the gearbox was quite noisy on the bends. The chances of me getting any opportunity to put my foot down along this stretch of national speed limit road are very slim, because unusually what's going on, somebody in a Golf is doing 30 miles per hour. What's that about? You're getting a 30 miles per hour and they'll be doing 60. Chances of me actually being able to get any speed up are very, very slim here. I'm not going to be driving stupid at any point. I'll have a nice little test here. This is 30, and I will carry on doing 30 right the way until we reach that speed change limit. Let's see what happens. In third gear, go. Quickly end up going a bit faster than you want to. Yep, so you put your foot down and then you have to put your foot on the brake pretty much straight away. This car's got very good tyres on the front as well, but I think I'd be tempted to say that there's too much power for the front wheels to handle properly. But it might have been better off as a rear wheel drive, but of course that was completely the opposite idea of how the Mini worked in the first place. So that's not going to work, is it? No. I'm going to take this car back, and I've got to admit, I don't think I've ever had as much fun in the car as I have with this. Well, I mean I have, but for a very different reason. The proper classic cars give you a very different brand of style. This is just good handling and stupid speed, and that is one thing I quite like. Obviously. What about every day though? Is this the kind of thing I can live with every day? It rather depends on its fuel consumption, I guess. Well, in conclusion, this Mini Cooper S GTT220 brake horsepower version is jeffing amazing. Thank you for watching.